is Stephanie, and as you probably know, I'm a big fan of podcasts. In case you didn't know, I do co-host a podcast with Rachel at the Shades of Orange called Books in the Freezer, where we talk about horror books. But as you could probably guess, I'm also a huge fan of podcasts. I devote several hours of my week to listening to podcasts, and I wanted to talk about my 5 favorites. So some of these are ones that when they release new episodes, I need to listen to them ASAP. There are 1 or 2 that have kind of run their course, so they're not producing any more episodes, but I honestly might just revisit them because I enjoyed them that much. So the first one is one of those that was a limited series. It ran its course, it told its story for now. I don't know if they're going to do another season with a different plot line, but that was Deadly Manners, and this was so much fun. First of all, this was narrated by LeVar Burton, and it had a lot of celebrity voices, including Kristen Bell and RuPaul and a whole bunch of other people, but those are the only 2 I can think of right at the top of my head that were in it. But this was an audio drama, and it was a locked room mystery. So like Kristen Bell is this uppity rich woman, and her family is throwing this annual like gala, and all of these other rich uppity people are in this house, and there's a snowstorm that is like knocking the power out, and all this stuff is going on, and people keep dying. It's not horror. None of the deaths are super gory or over the top. It is very much like that locked room mystery, like, uh-oh, the lights went out and someone got poisoned. So when this was going on earlier this year, I was so excited for new episodes, and I really hope that they do another season with like maybe a different cast and just do a whole thing, because it was so much fun. My next one is one I discovered recently, but has become my new favorite. I am still working my way through their backlist, and I'm going to be so sad when there's no more episodes for me to listen to, but it's called I Hate It But I Love It, and it's 2 women in Canada. I think one of them is like an actress comedian, and one of them is a writer at BuzzFeed, but they talk about movies that they hate and love simultaneously, and they are hilarious. Like, I am constantly laughing out loud when I am listening to this. It's funny because they are tackling those movies that's like, you watch it because you do love it, but at the same time you're like, has this really aged well? Like, they've done Never Been Kissed and like Love Actually, and a lot of movies like that that have like really weird plot holes, and obviously this is, you know, well-trod ground. There's a lot of podcasts that do this, but they are just consistently hilarious. So my next favorite, and one that I get really excited, this is another one that like everything gets put off and I immediately have to listen to this new episode, is Punch Up the Jam. And this is hosted by 2 comedians that were popular on Vine. Demi Adijuibe, who co-hosted with Kevin Porter the Gilmore Guys, and Miel Brado. And what they do is they take popular songs, and you know, they usually, sometimes they have a guest, but they all talk about a popular song, and they kind of go through it lyric by lyric and analyze it and riff on it a little bit. And then at the end, you know, either Miel or Demi has created a punch up, and so they have taken the song and like improved it, but in a jokey way, and it's so much fun. And they've pointed out things in songs that I have listened to my whole life and never noticed because I didn't pay attention to the lyrics, and another one that's just a lot of fun. So if people ask me what like my favorite podcast was, I would probably have to say it's the Popcast with Knox and Jamie. So they do topic-based episodes that are just about pop culture in general, but I love their episodes that they revisit every year. Like, they do New Year's predictions, they do like box office predictions and like fall TV schedule predictions that I love. But what have to be probably my favorite episodes are when they do listener call out episodes, and they just say like, what's the dumbest thing you've ever spent money on, or like, what's the craziest thing like your grandparents have ever said to you, and they read just listener comments. And this is another one that has me laughing out loud. And honestly, this is a podcast where like I kind of feel like I'm friends with Knox and Jamie, even though I'm totally not in real life friends with Knox and Jamie, but I always talk about them like to my husband and like my friends like we're buddies. Like, I'm like, well, Knox said this, and like Knox did say that was a good show, and Jamie swears by that. So this is one that's like probably my hands down favorite. And lastly, I'm going to talk about a podcast that kind of ran its course, but I know they're experimenting with some spin-off stuff right now. But that was the Babysitters Club. And this follows 2 middle-aged guys, Jack and Tanner, as they were making their way through all of the original Babysitters Club books, and they would do an episode over each book. They were really funny, and they would just really dig into these books and find common threads and come up with all of these conspiracy theories and say like, oh, well, like, you know, here there was multiple timelines, and like there are weird like Lovecraftian forces like actually dictating like what's going on in this world, and there's like these ancient gods and like wars with witches. And it was so much fun to hear them go over these books and find these like tiny threads and really just run with them and create this whole like backstory, just really like digging deep into these like sacred texts. It was just so much fun. So they did the original run, like they did you know, Christie's big idea to like the fire at Mary Ann's. And now I think they're doing the Little Sister adventures. It was a lot of fun, and like all of the episodes are there now, the whole series, if you want to go and binge those. Anyway, most of these are comedy, not a lot of bookish ones. I mean, I guess you could count the Babysitters Club. So anyway, let me know if you listen to any of these podcasts, or if any of these have piqued your interest in any way. You know, come talk to me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.